The music industry is safe. For now. Now, if you haven't already heard the news, a jury in New York has ruled that Ed Sheeran did not plagiarise Marvin Gaye with his 2014 hit Thinking Out Loud. And this is fantastic news for anyone involved in music whatsoever, whether it be an established artist, whether it be somebody working for a record label, whether it be an independent musician, or even somebody who just likes listening to music. Now, I'm going to get into why in a minute, but first of all, I just want to clear up a misconception about this case that I've seen floating around online. Now, there have been some people who have been falsely claiming that it was Marvin Gaye's family who have brought this case against Ed Sheeran, and people have been accusing them of being money grabbers and trying to capitalise on Marvin Gaye's legacy. But this actually isn't true. It was actually the family of Marvin Gaye's co-writer, Ed Townsend, who brought this case against him. And it's totally fair to criticise it. I mean, that's what I'm doing here now. But we just need to make sure we're aiming our criticism at the right people. So that's just something we need to make sure we get right first and foremost. Now, why is this ruling such an important thing for anyone involved in music? Because the precedent that would have been set had this decision gone the other way would have been an absolute disaster for anyone working in music. Now, the case against him alleged that there were striking similarities between Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On and Ed Sheeran's Thinking Out Loud. And thankfully, the jury, who saw some common sense, have ruled that those striking similarities are simply some of the most important building blocks of music that you will find in countless songs in many different genres. Now, just to put this into context, one of the things that the case against Ed Sheeran ruled was stolen was the chord progression in the song. Now, the chord progression goes something like this, so it's something like that. That is D major over F sharp, G major and A major. Now, I could turn on any pop radio and I could hear 10 songs that used either this chord progression or something very similar. And that may sound like a dig against pop music, and I guess in a way it kind of is. But the more important point that I'm making here is that they were essentially trying to take ownership of music theory, something which belongs to all musicians. I don't think anyone could ever claim ownership of a particular chord progression. Now, that's not to say that real cases of plagiarism in music don't happen. Obviously, the most famous example would be when Vanilla Ice famously ripped off a Queen bass line. Now, if you listen to those two side by side, you cannot claim that that is anything other than blatant fraud. And in those cases, I completely understand why a case needs to be brought against the artist. But this just wasn't that. Now, in the short time that I've been uploading to this YouTube channel, I've mainly posted covers and lessons and occasional news pieces like this. I'm yet to post any of my original music, although I do plan on doing so eventually. But if this court ruling had gone the other way, I may have been forced to reconsider, because what's to stop some artist that I may or may not have heard of from getting in touch with me claiming that I stole their song just because I wrote something that unintentionally sounded familiar? And make no mistake about it, whilst I'm sure that what Ed Sheeran has gone through with this case has been incredibly difficult for him, he would have been absolutely fine either way. Now, he is an established musician with many massive hits all over the world. People know who he is. He would have been fine financially either way. Now, I know he said that he may have considered retiring had he been found to have plagiarised Marvin Gaye's song, but whether or not that would have actually happened, I don't know. I mean, thankfully we'll never need to know. But for any mid-level touring band or any independent musician, or even just somebody who uploads their own music to YouTube from their bedroom, a court case like this could potentially ruin their careers before they ever really got started. And that is why it is so important, and I'm so glad that this court ruling went the way that it did. This isn't about whether I like Ed Sheeran or not, or whether I like Marvin Gaye or not. I personally think that they were and are very good musicians in their own ways. But even if I didn't, my opinion on this would not be any different. There have been some people who have wanted the case to go the other way just because of Ed Sheeran's claim that he would retire should that happen. But I don't think that they're seeing the wider context of what this could mean for the music industry as a whole, and that is why I wanted to make this video. So yeah, those are my thoughts on something that, in my opinion, has much greater significance in the wider context of music than many people seem to realise. As always, I probably haven't added anything new to this conversation. I haven't said anything that hasn't been said many times already, but I just wanted to give my thoughts on it, and I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Do you agree with what I'm saying, or have I got this completely wrong? Do you think that Ed Sheeran did steal the song? Do you think that the ruling wouldn't have made a huge difference either way? Leave your comments down below, and if you want to see more ramblings like this, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.